Hey guys, Nikki here with Broadcast Beat Magazine. I'm here with Alex Grossman of Quantum. How are you?
Fantastic, Nikki. How are you today?
Good. How's day 2 going so far?
Oh, NAB is off the hook. It is great. I mean, we're just super excited about what's going on at the show. I mean, this NAB is a fantastic one.
Well, speaking of that, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on, a little bit about Quantum itself and your position here at the show?
Sure. Well, Quantum is, we've been for a long time a worldwide leader in what we call collaborative storage environments. So we build all the storage that happens for companies, most production companies, post and broadcast, that do end-to-end workflows. So we start with ingest, we go all the way through delivery, and of course archive. And Quantum's been known for that, but this year we just have some fabulous stuff that we're showing.
Can you give us a little insight on some of the stuff?
Sure. I think the first place to start is, Quantum is really looking at what's happening in high-resolution workflows. I mean, one of the hottest things everybody talks about is 4K. And I think up until a couple years ago, 4K was hype. I mean, could you really do 4K? Yeah, you could, but where are you going to deliver it? What are you going to do with it? Is anybody demanding it? This year, it's just crazy. 4K is going everywhere, but a lot of people are talking about it, not a lot of people are delivering it. So what Quantum's been able to do is deliver true 4K workflows all the way from, small companies, 1, 2, 3 person post facilities, all the way to large broadcasters and studios. And we've been really making 4K just a simple and easy thing to do. Two things that we're showing here at the show that are really exciting. One is what we call extended online storage. Really a different concept in there to really help high resolution. What we've done is we've looked at the workflow and said, you go from an HD workflow, it's pretty simple. You work in one codec or just a couple codecs, you have a few ins and a few outs. Pretty simple workflow. When you get to high resolution, you start thinking about things like over the top, what we used to call second screen in the good old days, like 2 years ago. And you start looking at that and you go, how am I delivering now? And what are my acquisition? I mean, people are acquiring with GoPros, from a GoPro to an F65 Sony. And they're working with all those different types of input devices on the same shows. So you look at that and you go, I got to deal with all those different codecs, and a lot of people are acquiring RAW and 4K. Well, you can't really have a raw workflow through 4K, especially if you're in a collaborative environment with a lot of users. So what happens now is you're really doing a lot of different work. So you're transcoding right on ingest, essentially building a mezzanine format, you're doing proxy formats, you're sending the raw to archive. So there's a lot of moving parts that happen that have never happened before. A lot of QA steps, a lot of render steps, a lot of transcode steps. And when you do that, you tend to slow the performance of your real-time operations. Things like editing and color correction, conforming, all that fun stuff we talk about. And the problem is those real-time operations have to happen, and the non-real-time operations, like transcoding and rendering and delivery, they have to happen too. So you can't have these slower non-real-time operations in the same space that you have real-time operations. Otherwise what happens is you tend to get bottlenecks. And so we've looked at that and we seriously took a look at it. We said, is there a better way? And since we're built on this thing called StorNext 5, it's our platform that goes from end to end, all the way from archive to ingest, back and forth. And we've built on StorNext 5, we built a technology that allows us to kind of separate the non-real-time from the real-time and improve the performance of the workflow. So you can truly future-proof, I mean that's a big word, but you can future-proof all the way through 8K today with what you can do for HD, 4K, and 8K. And we have ways of taking standard XSAN deployments and StorNext deployments and other deployments into these high-resolution environments. So that's really cool because it's things we can deliver today.
Ahead of the game, too.
Yeah, and then the other thing everybody's talking about, I mean, the buzz, the hype of the show is the cloud. I look up when I say the cloud, but it's really in a data center somewhere, right? But everybody's talking about the cloud, and everybody's saying, how do I get to the cloud? And quite honestly, it's not really easy, especially if you're a media professional. I mean, sure, if you're a banker, you probably have a whole suite of people can come in, IT organization, 3 years later, you're up in the cloud. What if you're a post facility, even if you're a broadcast facility, a small independent, how do you get to the cloud? Well, we've completely changed the way people get to the cloud. So Quantum is a leader in open systems collaboration. We have a very high market share there between StorNext 5 and the 100% compatible XSAN. We're market leaders if you're not in a proprietary system. People think you got to go proprietary because they do it for you. Well, you can still get it done in open systems. So we introduced something recently called Q Cloud Archive, and Q for Quantum. Hey, that was hard, right? Oh. Q Cloud Archive, and the concept of Q Cloud Archive is that within StorNext 5, with a couple clicks, you get up to a public cloud. Now, we're currently using Amazon, which is big, right? S3 is big.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it, right? It's pretty much unlimited scalability. It's S3 capable. There's no lock in there. And what we've done is we've done this, as I said, 2 clicks, you're into the cloud. But the cool thing is it's simple billing and pay as you go. So you can decide, I want to put a gigabyte up there this month. I want to put a terabyte up there this month, depending on your pipe going up, right? You need a big pipe to do that. And then I might keep it up there for 2 months and take some of it down or take it all down. And it's just pay for what you put up there. And there's a little bit of fees sometimes if you pull too much down in a month or something, but you can work on that and you can delete as you want to. And
You have full control over it.
full control, and it's easy, and it's all done within StorNext. So if you already have a StorNext or an XN environment, and StorNext is an easy upgrade. I mean, very simple to go from XN to StorNext. You get to save all your clients, and you maintain all the investment you made. The nice thing about it is you can use QCloud in a couple minutes. So that's really cool. So cloud made easy, basically. So that's one of the things we've done.
That is amazing. Everything sounds so cool. And definitely Quantum stays ahead of the game, which is really nice.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. So one thing we did is when we were thinking about QCloud, we were thinking about archive in general, and we thought about, well, what about those people who don't have StorNext? They haven't gotten there yet. What about people who use, like, we call it scale-out NAS, this production NAS environment? Here's an interesting thing. If you looked at where HD was going, it got relatively easy. You could do anything you wanted to do in HD. You sometimes would suffer a little when you're on the NAS or the IP interfaces, but you could pretty much do what you needed to do. Now you get into 4K and higher resolutions, and all of a sudden now you're pushing way more down that pipe and it gets way harder. But people have made investments in these things and are not ready to completely replace it all, so they're standing up small 4K installations, and we built things that we call the StorNext Pro Solutions, and we have one called StorNext Pro 4K. We allow people just to put a 4K or a 8K even, but just high resolution environment right next to what they have today, and they can use that. But if they're not even ready to go there, we have something we just introduced to the show we call Artico. I love that name, Artico.
Artico?
Artico. It's an archive for everyone else. And what I mean by that is it's people who don't have StorNext yet. They have production NAS. They're using other systems. They want to get all the ease of going to the cloud, like with QCloud. So we made it for people who don't have StorNext. They just buy Artico, and they're allowed to just go right up to the QCloud with it. They can also go to object storage, which is another hot topic. We have object storage called Lattice, and also to tape, archive. So we've made archive easy for the production NAS guys, as simple as it is in StorNext 5. The only difference is if they have StorNext, there's no hardware to buy, no software to buy, it's just 2 clicks. With Artico, they buy an inexpensive box that's an archive NAS. It allows them to do that. And the best thing about it is, the last couple of years we've built what we call the ecosystem, all the technology partners around StorNext. So if you pick an NLE, or you pick a media asset manager, or you pick a workflow production system, all those work with StorNext pretty much without a hitch. There are no hitches. They just work. And the reason is we have a single API. Here's the geeky thing, and advanced programming interface. It's just a methodology that no matter if they're going to go to QCloud or to Lattice or work with anything that has to do with our workflow from ingest to archive, it just works with a few simple commands in StorNext. And by doing that, things like QCloud become available to media asset managers and others. Well, with Artico, since it's based on StorNext 5 technology, people who don't even have StorNext can still use all those capabilities. So if they had a media asset manager from any of the big guys, I mean, it could be Levels Beyond, it could be Delet, but it could be a small media asset manager like Axelor. Any of those media asset managers now can talk directly to QCloud through Artico or through StorNext 5.
Great for smaller businesses too.
Absolutely. For the smaller ones, the big ones, and what we find is that even studios, even large broadcasters have work groups. And so it doesn't matter the size of the work group that you have, whether it's 2 users or 20 users or 200 users, you can take advantage of technology. So we think we're ahead of the curve on this one.
I think so too. Thank you so much, Alex, for everything. Quantum is also an amazing partner of ours, so thank you for that, and a Broadcast Beat Award winner for content management, so congratulations.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you. This is Nikki from Broadcast Beat Magazine.